Howdy, it's Christy from the Moonstone Mystic. Hope everyone's okay. Let's talk about how I said I was going to do pick a card readings on this channel and why I never do pick a card readings on this channel. So, at the beginning of starting doing my tarot readings last year on Etsy, I decided to make this YouTube channel because it would be so much easier just to upload readings onto the channel. And also I had the idea like, oh, it'll be great because I can do pick a card readings that people can watch every month. And let me tell you, that did not work out. That did not work out. The very first month that I tried to do pick a card readings was November of 2021, and I had 3 piles laid out. And 2 out of 3 of those piles were really chaotic readings. A lot of bad cards in them. And it was in that moment when I was recording it that I realized, out of all the pick a card readings I've ever watched on YouTube, like, they never, I don't want to call anyone out here, but like, I feel like people like to sugarcoat the negative cards. I'm not going to call anyone out. I'm not going to use any names because I don't believe in bad-mouthing people who can't defend themselves. But I'll say that one of my favorite tarot readers on YouTube last month, I just got so frustrated watching her channel because the very last card in the reading was the Tower. And the Tower is all about how everything you've built up into this point has been on false pretenses, and just like a house of cards, it will come crumbling down. And she said that I need to build a strong foundation. And I was like, that ain't right. So I understand if you're doing like a reading for the collective, then everything's going to be kind of subjective and not everything is going to apply to everyone. But it made me realize very quickly that readers on YouTube who do pick a card readings have a tendency to sugarcoat the negative cards and or kind of cherry pick the meanings so that they're not so negative. And unless I'm willing to do that, I won't be able to keep up with pick a card readers on YouTube. I'm just not going to get the subscriptions they would. And it's really not within my character to kind of sugarcoat or glaze over or kind of soften the blow. Not everything in life is positive, and sometimes what we're left with is some pretty heavy stuff, and I'm not going to sugarcoat that. And I decided that I'm going to shelf that idea for now. But today I was just thinking maybe we can talk about other things. So if you're here, it's probably because you've ordered a reading from me on Etsy and you found my channel that way. If not, let me know how you found me. But let's talk about tarot birth cards. Okay, tarot birth cards. So this involves math, and we do math to figure out what your tarot cards are for your life path. Most people have 2 cards. If you're me, you have 3 cards, and we can kind of go over how that happens. But let's say it's all math, and even some of the math is debatable, but I'm going to show you the way that I was always shown and the way that I've always done it. And if you're no good at math, I can also leave the birth card calculator in a link below in the description. So let's say you were born in June 7th. So what's that? That's 1997. Okay, so you take June, the first 2 numbers, and the first 2 numbers of the date, so June 7th, and then 1997, you're splitting that up into 19 and then 97. If you were born in 2002, it'd be 20 plus 02. Okay, so you add that up to get a total. So in this case, it comes to 129. So that's a 3-digit number. If you get a 3-digit number, you're going to add the first 2 numbers to the second number. So 12 plus 9. So that would equal 21. And then from there, you add the 2 to the 1. So that equals 3. So your 2 numbers are 21 and 3. So 21 and 3 gives you the World and the Empress. And by the way, if you're curious, this is the lowbrow tarot. This is the major arcana only. This does not have the minor arcanas with all the suits, just the major arcana cards. So that would be the World with the Empress. Now these would be your tarot cards for your life path. Okay, so there's all sorts of combinations of these. Let's go over them. So we have the Empress and the World. And then we have Judgment with the High Priestess. We have the Sun with the Wheel of Fortune. The Moon with the Hermit. The Star with the Strength. The Tower with the Chariot. The Devil with the Lovers. Temperance with the Hierophant. Death with the Emperor. Here the Empress makes a second appearance. We have the Hanged Man with the Empress, and that would be the number 12 with the number 3. And then we see the High Priestess makes a second appearance, so that's Justice with the High Priestess. And then we have the Wheel, which makes a second appearance with the Magician. So keep in mind, because you are marking numbers down and adding numbers together again and again and again, we never just have the number 0. So the Fool is not included in any of these. But one thing I did want to mention is there is a case where you end up with one number, but actually it ends up being 2. So as an example, let's go over this. If you say April 8th, 2001, it comes to 33. There is no 33 in the major arcana, so you'd be adding 3 and 3 together, and that equals 6. So if that's the case, if that's your number, by default, that is the Lovers, which goes with the Devil. So even though the number 15 isn't anywhere in your calculation, it's added by default, the Lovers and the Devil. Or you could just call yourself a double lover. But let's go over, so for example, I have 3 birth cards, and that happens when the sum of your birthday, let's see, the sum of my birthday is 118. So that's 11 and 8, and that brings it to 19. Whenever you get 19, you end up with 3 numbers, right? So you end up with 19 is the Sun, and you narrow that down. 1 plus 9 is 10, brings you to the Wheel of Fortune, and 1 plus 0 is 1, so that's the Magician. So if you're like me, you end up with 3 cards as your birth card in tarot. So what I think I'm going to do going forward is I'll do a series of videos that kind of goes over all the different birth card combinations and what they're supposed to mean for your life path. So if that's something that interests you, give this video a like. Let me know in the comments down below. And I'm also open to lots of suggestions on what you would like to see in a tarot channel that maybe you're not seeing enough of on YouTube, or something that you just like me to cover. I would love to do something a little interactive like that. Even if it's just a Q&A, add a question down below add a question down below in the comments, and I can collect all your questions and kind of cover the more interesting topics. So that's it for today. How about you use the calculator below, figure out what your combination is, and comment down below. Let me know what your life cards are. Thank you so much.